This is V from a Canadian RV Array. In this video what we're doing is, well, we're going back to Sanibel Island, and this time we're going to take you right down to the farthest most point of Captiva. So this is a before and after view of it, and what I'll be doing is inserting a lot of video of my original video when I went down to visit Sanibel, and we were riding our bikes at that time. But this time, unfortunately, it's just all a car because the causeway, you could not get a bike across. They prohibited bikes from going across on the causeway. And here it is with the insert picture above was a year ago approximately, and in the larger picture you'll see where we cross, and we did have our sun pass in the vehicle, so we were able to go right through. But a lot of differences, a lot of construction still going on the causeway, but it's amazing how fast that they were able to get it all together and allow traffic to go over it. So let's keep watching. This part, I believe, was the original part that was not washed out, and very soon when we start coming off the top of this, right here at the bottom, I believe this was one of the parts that was washed out, and I've got some more inserts coming up to show you what it looked like before. And traffic was really minimal in this area because there was a curfew that you had to be off the island if you weren't a resident on the island, and there's a curfew, so if you were just visiting, you had to be off the island, unless I guess you had special permission if you had a home there and it was back in livable style, I guess you might say, with power and water, that you could go back and stay on the island. But if you're a visitor, there was a 6 o'clock curfew. So now what they did on both sides, it looks like they've added a lot more sand, because there were parts of this causeway here that you can actually drive right off, and you'll see that coming up. So let's keep watching. And for bikes, they were not allowed because you could see where they were narrowing down the lanes from years back, or a year back, where you could ride your bike right across, and the bike trails were on both sides. But because you'll see as we're coming up to a tight area, they didn't allow any bikes because there was no bike path here, and you'd be in line with the vehicles. Now, speed was reduced quite a bit. I think it was only 20 miles per hour that you were allowed to travel on this, so it was a little slower, and you can sure tell that there just isn't the traffic as there was. Now, in the above picture in the insert, here's where we actually drove right on the beach, you might say, and we're just waiting for a few cars to go by. But I believe it was in the same area as we're passing right now in the large picture. And you can see where in the insert picture that I inserted, you could drive right up, and there was a hut there. It's gone. There's nothing that I could see that was anything like this. And it was quite disheartening to be able to, drive across and not pull off. There was no pull-offs whatsoever on the causeway. Let's keep watching. So again, this is the visitor center on Sanibel Island. You can see in the small picture we were riding our bikes and we pulled up to it. And in a second I will drop the top picture and you'll see just what it looks like right now. It seems to be a mess on the outside still, but I believe on the inside they did replace the drywall up to 4 feet where everything flooded. So I'm hoping that they'll get this back in business very, very soon. So now ahead, we're still going south, and we're heading towards Captiva now, the other part of the island. I believe this is Sanibel still, but we'll be leaving this very shortly. And we're going to take you right down to the tip of Captiva and just show you what it looks like down there. So let's keep watching. Now you can see here that a lot of the businesses are still closed, and I guess probably trying to repair from all the water damage. There was some people in some of the homes I did notice, and again, they were just still cleaning up. Taking you farther down, I believe, over this bridge where Captiva starts and Sanibel ends. And we'll keep watching, and we'll take you right down to the tip of Captiva. Again, a lot of the trees and the shrubs and everything else was quite, you might say, burnt because of all the salt water that came up and I guess destroyed all the vegetation in the area. Now, I still have some more insert pictures coming up, and as we slowly get closer to the end of the highway here at Captiva. Let's keep watching. This is all the beaches down here at Captiva, and you'll see some of the mansions of major homes that are on the right-hand side of our car here. It was a beautiful, beautiful sunny, balmy day. There was no humidity, and the temperature was a very comfortable 73 degrees. But again, it looked really, really bad in certain areas with still the sand on the roads and quite a bit of devastation for some of these big homes. And some of the homes were built properly. You can still see them, they're up on stilts. Now this is, I believe you might want to call it Captiva downtown. There was some businesses that were back in business and opened up, and there were people around, but my God, it was nowhere near the people that should be here on a good time. And you can see one building there, they're totally rebuilding it out of solid steel. So now we're coming up. This was kind of, I guess, a holding area for debris and stuff, and you can see that some of it was cleaned out, and they still had some equipment, but this is it. This is the end right there. It just ended. Now what we're doing is we're coming back, and what I was trying to do is find the beach entrance, but all of the beaches in this area are totally closed, and they're not allowing anybody on the beaches. And you can see me walking on the little picture, but right here on the big picture, we had to physically turn around. We couldn't even get to the beach area at all. So the insert picture I've got from last year, the lighthouse, we were trying to get to the lighthouse to take a shot of that area, and unfortunately couldn't do that either because they weren't allowing anyone to the beach area whatsoever. So now we're starting to turn back and head back for the causeway entrance. And right here, that road down there, do you remember in my other video I had all kinds of parrots and stuff? We couldn't even get down there to see those, so don't know if they were still there, but I bet you that no one would be putting them out in this time, because it was just still really bad. And you can still see all the sand on the side of the road that washed up with the rain and the storm surge. So very soon we'll be turning right here to go back on the causeway. And here we are. We're now starting to leave, and it looks so beautiful and picturesque right here. But again, Sanibel and Captiva have a lot of work to do to bring it back to the paradise that it was. But I was really amazed of how fast they were able to repair the roads here on the causeway. and allowing people to come on. But again, they really don't want too many visitors. There was a curfew at 6 o'clock. If you're visiting or just driving around, you had to be off the island. And there was police presence that were quite enforcing that continuously. So there's on both sides. They're building up the highway quite a bit now with a lot of sand, and hoping that that never happens again. At least they'll have some backup earth. Anyway, this is V from A Canadian RVer. We hope you've enjoyed this short video on Sanibel and Captiva and what we did last year and this year. Thanks for watching.